22 separate shooting incidents when I was put on trial. He says, what you just say to me? He says, he knew he was going to get wrong off us. He went, I just put the pliers on his teeth and it crumbled. I went, no. Like that, no. The next thing I know, Glover just stood up and pulled the handbrake on. We're doing about 60 mile an hour. And he just leant over, because it was sat behind the driver. And he just pulled the handbrake on. He shooted, right, we've got help, they've got guns. And pulled the handbrake on. And we went into a spin. On the motorway, when it come to a stop, we're pointing the wrong fucking way, pointing up, you know what I mean? And the screw in front of us went like that with the key. And this one went, and I went, go on then. Intelligence people are waiting, taking photos of me, getting on the boat. Fuck what? I'm putting some #1 wanted fucking criminal. I'm fucking photographing them. And we're not leaving that place till the next fucking day. Next thing I know, there was one fucking behind us. And there were fucking guns through the fucking window. Within seconds, it had us. Even not suspected something was going on with the cars. They were fucking on us like a ton of bricks. I admitted beating them up and that and doing what I'd done. I just said I wasn't present with a fucking torturing man, anything to do with it, man. I found out afterwards. I've passed a lie detector test proving this. 11.5 years. I got 9 years for the torture.
Yep.
2.5 years for the escape. I had a fight with the oldest one in the town centre over blaming me for killing Freddie and Viv at the trial, because I was sat there listening and the cops have come to court to help them give evidence. As for the past 7 years, they've put one witness after another on YouTube accusing me of serious offences. Past 7 years. And the last witness I put on was Davy Glover, where they're changing the evidence in Viv's murder and they're getting him to say that he got the murder details off me, that he confessed to the police. So that was the final straw.
Welcome back to KRN TV. We'll bring you the most exciting interviews from around the world. Today, delighted to be in the northeast with Newcastle's most infamous villain, Paddy Conroy. Paddy, thank you very much for the opportunity. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing alright.
So, for people who don't know, Paddy's got an absolutely insane story. We're talking prison escapes, long prison sentences, feuds with the police, feuds with rival crime families, documentaries with some of Britain's most famous crime reporters, McIntyre, Underworld, and recently he's become a star of the YouTube world. So Paddy, obviously, it's been an absolute crazy life you've led up into this point.
It is. He forgot to mention there that I've been wrongfully in prison 9 times.
Yeah.
The way the record stands at the minute, I've just passed a top lie detector test, one that's accepted by the Home Office. The man's got that.
Well, yeah.
Teddy Mullins, his credentials, he does police work.
Of course, well, we'll get into that, but obviously it's your first time on the channel, so I want to give everyone a little bit of the background about yourself. Obviously,
and I didn't want to forget that bit where I'm proven by lie detector test.
Don't worry, we've got it all in
that
there.
My last 2 prison sentences, I was innocent of.
Crazy.
So I'm just pointing that out.
But, so have you always, has family always been from the Newcastle area, northeast?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Born and bred, yeah.
And it's a big family?
Yeah, massive, aye. My mum who's died there not so long ago, she had 120 grandchildren.
Genau.
So that's just my mum, you know.
Yeah. And
so I've got about fucking 60 or 70 fucking nephews, you know what I mean? 80 nephews, because we're predominantly sort of male offspring more than women, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're sort of all lads.
And would you say you were born into a crime family?
Yeah, definitely.
So
with my dad and that.
Yeah. And so obviously your dad being a villain, when was it, what age did you realise your dad was a villain, and how did you realise? Was it prison sentences or was it police coming through the door? Or?
I didn't think you do realise when you're born in it, you know what I mean? I think it's more when you're teenager you start to become aware of what's going on. Do you know what I mean?
Mm. So
but when I was a kid, my dad used to send us with Me and my sister carrying bags of silver, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he's a proper villain, you know. He's always at it.
Nice. And so did your dad end up going to prison or anything like this?
Oh, he's in a prison all his life.
And so for you, that was the norm until you spoke to your other friends and then realised that obviously their dads weren't going into that prison. Was it sort of more of a realisation like that everyone's dad weren't a villain?
No, I didn't even think that, because the area I come from, most of the dads went to prison, you know. Most of the, well, probably all of them. All the people I knocked around with as a kid, their parents were villains too, you know.
And so this was a specific part of Newcastle then you were brought up in, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The West End, was it?
West End, Scotchwood Road.
And was this like quite an impoverished part of the city?
Yeah, it was the most impoverished part of the whole of Newcastle. Like a criminal fraternity, impoverished, yeah.
And so
there was one road runs along the bottom of where Scotchwood is, all the way along, 4 mile long, and it had like 47 pubs on this one road. So there was like one in every corner where we were brought up. So we were brought up and run the pub drinking life. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I started drinking at 15.
Nice.
By the time I was 18, I was taking my ex-wife with me. I was taking her out when she was 14 and I was 15 on Scotchwood Road. By the time I was 18, I used to drink 7 nights a week.
Jeez.
And I drunk like and my entire fucking life, I think I spent one day in the house. I've always, before I went to prison, I spent every single day of my life in a pub since I was a kid.
No good. And
I enjoyed it, I miss it.
Of course. But you know, being raised, were you bred with an anti-establishment sort of mindset from, like, obviously was your dad always moaning about the police and how they're treating him and stuff like this, like most criminals?
Were
you bred knowing the police were enemies?
Do you know what it is? Yeah. Certain section of the police were enemies, and that's the same lot that sort of the crime squad who was always raiding your house.
Yeah.
And over the years you get to know them fucking personally, don't you? And then you have fucking true with them, obviously. You know what I mean? I've grown up like that with them my entire fucking life.
Yeah.
I've never been friendly with any police officer in my entire life. I'll show you my record. My record's all police assaults, section 18s, section 20s, my entire fucking life.
Come on. So what sort of crime was your dad involved in then? Being a villain of those times?
Post officers mainly.
Yeah.
And fucking stately homes and that.
Okay.
I've come doing ways at fucking treasure chests full of fucking jewellery.
Yeah.
And I've come doing ways when I've been a kid where they've had fucking sheets, piles of them, or stamps, where they've been doing the post offices and that.
And so your dad, is there some truth in the fact that the Crays ended up trying to come to Newcastle at some point, and was it your dad's gang that sort of run them out of town at that point?
Chased them out, yeah, definitely.
And what was the story there then with the Crays then?
Well, the enemy brought them. The family are still fighting on with today.
Yep, which we'll come on to it.
And they just walked into the local club, 69 Club, where all the locals used. My dad and his mates and people from Scotchwood. And they just got put straight out the fucking door, to be honest. Bobby Snowden and Jackie Mulholland were the two that went out of them. Panda, I've just showed you the photo of Panda there. Panda brought them in. I've got the photo of the other one, I brought them in too. Nice. Brought them in the club, some sort of, they come in to draw money off the club owner. But the enemy were using them as intimidation against the locals as well, you know what I mean? Because them old school communities they're different from what they're like today, you know what I mean? And they were using them as intimidation against the local firms, really. Yeah. The enemy were. Because they're not Geordies, the enemies, they were Cockneys. They just come to live in Newcastle in the fucking 50s or 40s or whatever.
Okay.
That's my enemies.
Yeah, of course.
That's Jewish Cockneys.
Yeah. And so was the feud, was that, obviously you talk about your dad's gang, they were brought in by them, this was them sort of a power play by them. So
that's right, that's what it was, a power play.
Against your dad's gang, so this was before the rivals were powerful, or what they are today, allegedly. And so, you know, this feud that you've had going on for obviously the past 30 years and more, was that inherited from your dad?
No.
Okay. So
my dad didn't really feud with them even though he didn't like them. Do you know what I mean? They just sort of accepted they couldn't rule. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they were trying to rule
Okay.
And they couldn't budge me, old man,
Yeah.
or the people that run them. That's who I view it.
Okay. So,
And they never could rule, even though they've tried to rule in the city for fucking long time, and that was a trying man with a craze.
Yeah.
It's only since quite lately, with the new generation of them, where they've sort of getting a fucking bigger reputation than what they used to have, you know.
Absolutely. So going back quickly, just to the start of your story as such. So when you were at school, what were your aspirations when you got older? Was there any? Did you want to follow your dad into the life of crime, or did you have any aspirations to any legal jobs at all?
Yeah, of course. When I was a kid.
Yeah, obviously we see that I've seen that you're good at art. Did you want to be an artist as a kid?
Not really. I've just learned to paint. Since I've come to prison, I just took it up. I've been around when I was a young'un. When I was drinking in the pubs when I was a teenager, 16 onwards. I used to take a wagon, bone cart, horse out, just get a few quid and get in the pub, to be honest.
Yeah.
Or I'd be a window cleaner, or I'd.
Did you do well at school?
No.
No. Did you finish school?
No. I was put in a through school when I was 14 or 15. I was only away one day.
So you're getting into trouble early then at school. What was the problems at school? Fighting or?
No, it was shoplifting. My sister took us shoplifting, carrying the bag. Wasn't really me, I was just doing as I was telling you now.
So you'd be getting arrested?
So I wasn't even a
from
criminal,
early?
I was just a fucking one of these kids who just done as he was told. So
what age was your first arrest then?
I think my first arrest was for breaking into, even though it wasn't breaking in, it was, we went apple scumping. We'd been knocking off school and we were in the field when Newcastle United the training ground is still there, same place. And we're in the field where they were training, getting the apples off the trees, and we're noticing our building in the middle of the field. And we just climbed in, have a look, it was the changing rooms. It was fucking a wreck, there was holes in the roof, the lockers were over. And then the caretaker of the field come and caught me, and we got done for burglary. That was my first conviction, I think.
And was it more, you hadn't even stolen anything, was it more a break
No,
and entry?
just looking in, we weren't even breaking in.
Yeah.
I wasn't really a criminal as a kid, to be honest. All my mates were bigger criminals than me.
Yeah.
Even though my dad was a villain. Because I was brought up with my granny, mostly.
Yeah.
And none of them were criminals, you see.
Okay. And so did you manage to avoid sort of going to Borstal or young offenders?
I did
or
all
anything
that, but like I say, I went to proof school.
Yeah.
I was away one day, and I ran away the next day. And then my dad packed us off to London.
Okay, so what was that for, down in London? Was that the approved school or?
No, just packed us off to get us out the way because I was running.
Do you have family down there?
He sent us down to Jackie Mulholland's, Jackie who chased the craze with.
Yeah.
Jackie was working down there.
Okay.
And
so what did you get up to down in London then?
I used to work Brick Lane Market, selling LPs. Petticoat Lane, Brick Lane.
Yeah.
Because we used to live on Remand Road, where the craze lived. What was it, Bethnal Green, is it?
Yeah.
And we used to sell LPs. Well, we pinched from Jackie had a job looking after this industrial estate, and there was an EMI record factory there, and all the LPs used to get sent back to be remelted. Do you know, like brand new LPs?
Yeah.
And there used to be a skip outside the place, big skip.
Yeah, when I was
and for years and years and years, we made a living from that skip.
Yeah.
My dad and Jackie and.
Yeah, when I was in prison, there was one of the warehouses was breaking DVDs and CDs, but brand new ones.
That's what this was.
Steal them from there and sell them.
That's what this was with brand fucking new ones.
Yeah.
Sometimes you never had the sleeves on them,
Yeah,
but
same, yeah. So
all Motown, and so I should sell them on there.
So did you enjoy your time in London then?
Not really, but
why? Because you're away from all your loved ones.
that's really
And so how long did you end up spending down there then? And
probably 18 months.
And then what made you go back up there then? Did your problems go away?
I had come back to Newcastle and I was too old to be sent back to a proof school.
Yeah.
And I was safe then. And I got caught in a pinched car.
Okay. And so you'd become a villain by the time you come back, or you were involved
just
in
petty fucking shit, really. Just not really a villain.
Stealing cars, petty stuff.
Aye, but villainy always terrified me.
Yeah.
Even though I got involved in it, it always fucking terrified me, to be honest.
Yeah. And so was that your first serious arrest then, wasn't it, in the stolen car then, or half serious arrest? Yeah.
Aye.
And so what happened from that then? Did you end up going away or get nicked, go to prison for that, or?
I got locked up for a couple of weeks, and then they said they give us a fine or something for stealing the car.
Yeah.
And they said, right, he's too old to send back to approved school. So they just had to let us out, you know. So I was back on the street.
And so your life at that time was sort of petty crime, was it, as such? Or did things start getting more serious?
I didn't really turn to crime, honestly, to be honest. I used to work more than...
And what were you doing work-wise then in Newcastle?
I'll just tell you, man, I didn't even take a rag and bone cart out. I was a window cleaner.
Yeah, it's anything.
I was a doorman for years.
Yep.
From when I reached my 20s, I would become a doorman.
So did you have your own door firm? Did you control
No,
doors,
no,
or
I just
were you
worked.
working for people?
I just worked with. I worked in the town centre and the big market, different pubs, different owners, and I worked for Big Billy, Robbo at Wheelers, and Paddy, Wheelers nightclub.
Okay. And
So Viv got my door on the job when I went to jail for having a fight with a copper.
Okay.
And they gave Viv my job because I was away.
Yeah. And so we'll come to Viv Graham down the line, obviously another infamous figure that's obviously no longer around. Rest in peace to Viv. But I saw on the documentary that you ended up going to jail for assaulting police at certain points. Would that be your first serious sentence, or had you had a serious sentence in between the 2 weeks
Just
and that point?
most of my prison sentences have been for assaulting police.
And what sort of sentences? Have you ever had a serious sentence for them? And how did
5 years for that last one.
And how did this?
Well, it wasn't me. It wasn't fucking me. They just convicted us of it. It was my next door neighbour who done it. They said it was me.
And so, what were their circumstances behind this then?
What's the circumstances behind it? Me two mates with the street come to see us and says Viv had bored them from a restaurant doing the tune. Well, I come and fucking sort it out. I says, aye, gives a shoot they need, and I'll come down. Because I was itching to have a fight with a cunt, to be honest. You know, you like when you're younger?
Yeah.
Just you sort of, yeah, the fucking aim out.
So you were a right hard man when you were young?
Oh, aye. I've had loads of run-ins with Viv.
Yeah.
Loads of them.
Yeah.
So anyway, so we're going to do it where it's just his first job. He's on a restaurant door in Santino's, in the big market. That's his first job in Newcastle. After, because Wheelers is in Gateshead. So it pulls up. It was me, Barry Redfern, Tony Chalmers. They're the two that he'd bored the night before. And I was with Tommy Finlay. That's Davey Finlay's.
Did you get that? Is
Just
that
a text. Just a text. That's Dave. I should have turned them off.
That's right, don't.
That's Davey Finlay's brother Tommy, and I was with Mickey Burke, my next door neighbour. He's the one who hit the copper, Mickey Burke, not me. So it was an open top, so we pulls up right outside the restaurant where they're working. There's 2 or 3 of them on the door. It's the first time they've had doormen on this fucking restaurant, you know what I mean? They didn't need them, because I've used this restaurant. It's the one where Peter Donnelly stabbed Rob Bell when he had the chew with Viv in this same restaurant. Have you read about it?
Yeah.
And before we reached the door, they seen we coming from the car, and they just slammed the fucking door shut and locked it with the keys and wouldn't let us in. So there was all that within seconds. We went out the door. I was trying to talk to them through the door to get the door open, and then one of the kids who I was with put the bin through the window. You know what I mean? Restaurant, there was people behind the fucking window. And we had to just fucking get off then. At that point, you know what I mean? He put the fucking window out because it wouldn't open the door. And when we fucked off out the tune, we passed the police car on the way to the tune, and they seen me. And come just to harass with. They didn't know anything about what had happened at the restaurant with Viv. Never come into the court case or nothing. I don't even think they phoned the police for the incident.
Yeah.
Because I knew the owner. Well, I'll just turn this cunt off. So how the fuck do you turn this off? That's it.
So you ended up getting pulled over by chance then on the way from the incident?
Aye, by chance, so we didn't stop. We went 4 keys because we were near home. And we just drove to my front door. I thought we would pull up and just fucking chase the cunts, but we were worried about Tommy because he'd had a drink. So I said to her, I phoned my missus. I was on the way, I wouldn't let the dogs out. I had 2 big Rottweilers. And she was just on her way to the backyard and let the dogs out. as we were pulling up, and that's when the cops pulled up behind me, and the driver of the car with the BM I was in, he tried to get through my back gate. My wife hadn't like quite getting the bolt open, and the cops run out and attacked him with their truncheons. That's when I had to jump in. And it's said about me with their truncheons too, so I ended up fighting with the coppers, and I got knocked unconscious.
No good. And did the cops end up getting hurt?
One of them did, because like I say, Mickey Burke hit one of them over the head with a stick after they knocked me unconscious.
Yeah.
And I got the blame for it. Said I'd done it with my phone.
Jeez. And so you ended up getting a 5-year sentence for that one, did you?
Yeah.
And did you get remanded from that day?
Yeah.
You got remanded?
For a couple of months,
Yeah, and so then when the court came, when was it that there was a big protest, obviously, wasn't there? Was it when you got sentenced?
That was after I got convicted.
Yeah, when you got sentenced. And so by that point there, you'd obviously there's a massive protest. You built up your name as a formidable hard man in Newcastle for that point. Not a serious villain, you're saying, but just a formidable.
Sort of, with a crime family background.
Yeah.
Sort of, I've become like a face sort of thing,
So you wouldn't say at that point you were sort of controlling the city's underworld in any given way, or?
No.
And so at them times there in the late 80s, were drugs a big thing in
Yeah,
Newcastle?
of course.
Yeah, and obviously without incriminating yourself, did you ever have any involvement in the drug trade at those points?
Well, I smoked out all my life, you know what I mean? So of course I've had something to do with fucking drugs.
Yeah.
But as for bad drugs in that Rundy area, I've done my best to stop them, to be honest.
Yeah.
My entire life. I've only known two villains today, and that's me and Paul fucking Massey.
Yeah.
To be honest, he done the same with Salford with all the smack dealers, and I was doing the same up here.
Again, rest in peace to Paul Massey.
I was doing the same up here with the smack and the crack.
Yeah.
I'd done the crack before they even got here.
Yeah, and so obviously after you got sentenced, obviously it must have been an upsetting day, but it must have made you feel good when there was all these big protests, and obviously like you said,
really.
Your mate Paul, obviously you're pissed off, it didn't make no difference.
No, that's right,
So how long had you been on remand for prior to the court case?
Couple of months.
So yeah, you still had a long way to go, you still had over a year to serve then by the time you got sentenced.
I got bail, and obviously I was on bail, and when I went up on trial, it was months and months later. But then I got a 5 stretch.
And obviously your good mate Bull on the protest
on the planting a knife. The cops planted a knife in my pocket too. They just said it was possession of a knife. They give us 18 months in jail for possession of a knife.
No good. So this was in the late 80s, wasn't it?
The knife belonged to Barry, the kid I was with.
Yeah.
And he just slung it when we pulled up. He slung it, and the cops funded after I was took away. And then they concocted evidence to say they'd come out my pocket, give evidence saying it'd come out my pocket for them. And then after I got convicted, we got the paperwork where they booked it in. And they'd booked it in saying they'd funded where Barry had threw it. And it said owner, unknown. So I had that ready for my appeal as well, you know what I mean, to come over stuff.
Yeah, so with your name already sort of ringing bells as such, popping off, this is why the police maybe had a slight agenda against you more so than the other names at this point there, and obviously where your dad had been a villain in the past, it gets passed, doesn't it, through the family?
Yeah, it does. I deny you personally. They've watched you growing up and you've had run-ins with them. I've had run-ins with the police all my life.
Yeah, and so you've ended up getting this 5-year sentence for this assault at this point here for the police, and this was in the late 80s, wasn't it? And so when did you get out from that? Was it early 90s?
February the 5th, 1990, I got out.
1990. And obviously after a couple of years away, was there any thoughts of sort of changing the life, becoming more law-abiding? And
there was, to be honest.
Or did you feel like you'd been sort of fitted up where you hadn't attacked the
first thing I done when I got out after the 5 stretch, I contacted my solicitor, and we'd done a deal with Northumbria Police that they would stop harassing me if withdrew my complaints. My solicitor talked us into doing it.
Yeah.
Peter Aylworth. So I said, go on, we'll try it. And then we've done it. I had the chief constable or the assistant chief constable on the phone to us. This is when I was living in Northbourne Street after I'm released. Yeah. And he tells us, wait, just put in black and white, and if you're staying out of trouble, we'll leave you alone, blah 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 blah. So I thought, right, great. So I wrote a letter to them withdrawing all my complaints. These are from before I got sentenced.
Yeah.
before this incident, I'd 8 official complaints in for police harassment before this incident with it.
Yeah.
So I withdrew all my official complaints, and then the next day, armed cops were through me fucking door again, searching the house, pulling it to bits for an armed robbery. Obviously blame me for an armed robbery, you know what I mean?
And you've obviously never been convicted or been involved in armed robberies, have you?
I've never. I'll take a lie detector test for armed robberies.
Yeah.
I've just realised a few things about the robberies. I don't know if you watch some of my videos about the murders.
Of course.
Well, they've been stitching us up with these murders, behind the fucking scenes.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
They've also been stitching us up with armed robberies too. I've actually been lay on remand and charged with armed robberies, I have.
And so, yeah, no, it's obviously
It's part of what's went on here with my enemies.
Of course. So,
see that
you've obviously got out then in 1990 and you're keeping your head down. Obviously, the police aren't leaving you alone still, but unfortunately, in 1992 there was obviously a tragic incident. Your brother ended up dying in 92. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
An absolute
accident.
Rest in peace to your brother. And it was during the McIntyre thing. They said it was playing Russian roulette. Is that true? Or?
Well, the one playing Russian roulette. I'll tell you exactly what fucking happened. The pulled up in the other day would explain. Someone had just given them a gun. They were working on the door of a pub. The new owner of the pub had said to them, "Do you want some wages or do you want a gun?" And with them being fucking young and fucking daft, they said, "We'll take the fucking gun." So a few weeks goes by and he gets a gun from him, handgun. Now with him, he wanted them to have the fucking handgun because he's got them in like fucking his two sort of minders, you know what I mean? And he's given them a gun. He's took them upstairs in the pub, into the sitting room of the house, and he's given them a gun. And my brother's got it. And he looks, he shows Bull there's only one bullet in the gun. He was just messing about. And he spun it, he says, "Let's play Russian roulette." And he stuck it in Bull's, like, doing just fucking about. He wasn't going to pull the trigger now. And Bull grabbed the gun and twisted it. And it was pointing up you know what I mean, as it got twisted and the bullet shot up. But they weren't actually playing Russian roulette, it was just, even though it was said, they were just carrying on.
Tragic.
And that's what happened, it was a tragic accident. But were they playing Russian roulette? No, definitely not.
Yeah, so obviously rest in peace to your brother. Were you close with him?
Not really, but I loved him obviously, but we've been brought up, he'd been brought up in my mother's household and I've been brought up in my granny's household.
Yeah. And obviously an absolute horrific act happened a couple of years later where his graveyard and your father's graveyard ended up getting decimated in 94, is that?
Well, they smashed a stone and that up by.
And do you know when this initially happened, did you know who it was?
Who done it?
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
And so this wasn't the start of the feud then, so why had the feud started with this other rival family?
The feud started because Davy Glover started a feud with him. And Davy Glover was my wife's nephew. Do you know what I mean? Now, to deal with the Conroys, he's me. Well, it's the last I'd lived with all my life. It was her nephew. So I was just stuck with him as an in-law, really. Do you know what I mean? Didn't have out to deal with him. Knew he was a fucking nutter.
Yeah.
But you're just stuck sometimes, aren't you? You've just got to put up with him.
Of course.
So he started all the fucking shootings, and one day they ended up at my fucking door through him just shooting a gun at them further along the road, fighting with my enemies, the Harrows.
Yeah.
And then they were at my fucking door. And I've went out and fucking started on them and they've pulled guns out and the guns have been fired at my fucking door. And that's what started the feud.
Yeah.
But Glover started the feud to get into my door.
Have you ever been close with them prior to that? Did you?
With Glover?
No, with the enemies prior to
Yeah,
this.
the Harrows. Yeah, I knew the Harrows well.
Yeah.
I knew the old man, I used to drink with them and the mum. I've knew them from kids. I used to go on the dad's caravan site when they were all fucking lying there drunk. They've been on the drink the night before and they used to sleep in the fucking here.
Yeah.
With a horse fucking box.
So with Glover being an in-law, you just inherited his problems as such.
They ended up at my front door through Glover fucking shooting.
Yeah.
An incident had just happened and they ended up coming to me straight at my fucking door because he was connected to
Of course.
me missus and it just started from there really.
And so there's sort of tit for tat stuff, and then in obviously '94, then the graveyards ended up being decimated from there.
As part of it, aye. But most of the shootings, there was 22 separate shooting incidents when I was put on trial. But most of them shooting incidents was fucking Davy Glover.
Yeah.
And then it turned out he'd working for the cops all along.
You know.
I've got the paperwork that I'll show you it all.
Absolutely nuts, isn't it? And so obviously you found out that one of the people who'd decimated the graveyard was this Billy Collier. Is that correct? And then so he's ended up being kidnapped, and is that not?
That's right, aye.
Yeah, so he's ended up being kidnapped. After this, he's ended up being tortured. It's alleged that he had teeth pulled out with pliers and his nostrils decimated, it said, didn't it? That's fairly accurate?
Sort of, but there was loads of lies told about the case, but who was present and who wasn't present when it happened, and they built a whole case around Davy Glover's statement.
Yeah, so Davy again had come along with you, or when this went on, he was involved in the kidnapping and torture.
He fucking done it.
Yeah.
I wasn't even fucking there, man. But he put us there. I was there when we grabbed the older Collier and we gave him a fucking hiding. I can tell you the full story if you want us to start from the beginning.
Yeah, please.
So anyway, my old man's grave's been desecrated. The gravestone. So I'm having now to deal with Glover, even though he's come to the house to see the missus, and because he's carrying out all these fucking shootings, and I'm fucking got a war gun with the horrors now because of it. But I'm not letting him get his war involved with what I've got going on, because he's a fucking nutcase, and it's him doing all the shootings. It's not anybody on this side. And this is what genuinely fucking happened. So anyway, the grave's been desecrated. So Glover was the first one to me who's such and such done it, and he said it was a kid called Neudman and Collier, Billy Collier. So I took no notice of him. I listened to him obviously, but I took no notice of him because he's got a fucking war gun with the same fucking people where we were keeping him separate from what was, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's just an in-law. But then somebody else come into the house who I trusted and said he'd been in the pub, the Blue Man pub, and Billy Collier had been in there boasting about what he'd done to the grave. Now this was their little local pub where they lived, next to their estate. So then I knew what Glover had been saying was the fucking truth. So I thought, right. I get two heavies, two people who go down to La Salle. I says, come and pick me up in the morning, I'm gonna fucking batter this cunt. So I says Glover then, because I've believed what he says. I says, do you know where he lives? He went, aye, we're talking about Neudman, not Collier. He says, aye. I says, come with me in the morning, just show me where he fucking lives. And I did take Glover with us that morning, just to show us where Neudman fucking lived, because I'd lost me fucking rag. They've done the fucking gravestone. Somebody's getting fucking hurt. Bad lad. You know, when you just see red.
That's understandable.
And that's the only reason I've took Glover with us, showing me where Neudman's fucking house was. So it ends up 4 in the car that morning. 4 them and me. Glover's friend Scott was there, who's dead now, Scott Wallace. And my 2 people who I was originally wanting to come with me, just to sort of watch me back. I trusted that way. One morning we were waiting at Neudman's house, we were passing a shop, and Glover just shouted, stop the car, there's Collier. So how's the fucking brakes on, thinking, what's going on? And before I knew it, he was at the door, he's in the fucking shop, and he's got hold of fucking Billy Collier, another one involved with the fucking gravestone. I thought, right, fucking was on with, do you know what I mean? Get him in here. So I hid him in the fucking back of the motor. I drove back along the road, took him into the backyard of fucking Glover's house where Glover lived. I went, right, you've done the grave? No. I said, are you not? Because that fall be true. And he was like this. I said, and I just went to give him a fright. This wood was rotten. So I smashed it next to his fucking leg just to give him a shock. Didn't hit him, hit the concrete with it. But it broke, it was rotten. The wood broke. And he just went, and he tapped us everything. As I was doing that, Glover tried to hit him with a gas bottle. Because when he seen me gonna hit him with the 4x2, I wasn't hitting him with the 4x2, I was just giving him a shock to make him talk. Glover hit him with a gas bottle. I tried to, and I stopped the fucking gas bottle. What are you fucking doing? Because he was talking, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I said, right, tell us everything, and that's all I wanted. I just wanted him to tell me everybody who was involved and who would put them up to it, and he was talking. I went, fucking great. So we gets back in the motor. Their car was, my pal's cars who were coming with me was parked down in the estate further down. So we drove down there to drop them off to get the car. And I says to Scott and Glover, take him into this house where a woman who I knew, who I trusted, called Debbie. And I took her to home and Debbie come out. I said, can you stay here? I'll just come back for 5 minutes. And she went, I no bother. So Glover, Collier and Scott got out the fucking car and walked into Debbie's house. So I was going to get my brother, because I wanted my brother to listen to what Collier's just telling me, who was behind it and whatnot. And I wanted to go and fucking do something proper naughty that night.
Of course.
And I wanted my brothers to come with us, drive the motor. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just wanted them to listen to what he's fucking says, so I would put them up to it.
Yeah.
That's the reason I've left.
Of course.
So when I get to my brother's house, he says a fucking helicopter's up there and everything, fucking stay away from the door, because there was panics all over. And so I thought, oh God, he was reached, the helicopter was there above us. So I drove along my house, where I lived, made a couple of phone calls, and then I went back to the house where I'd dropped them off at Debbie's.
Yep.
And when I went back to Debbie's, they went, oh, they're not here, they went along the flat. She says, well, you were spitting fucking blood all over. So they've took me along to Kavey's flat, they took him somewhere else.
Yeah.
And when I went into that flat, they've already fucking done him. He was already tied up in the corner of the floor when I walked in.
Yeah.
None of this was planned or arranged.
So Glover was, like you said, he's a raging, he's a lunatic.
He's working for the cops, man. I've got the paperwork that I'll show you.
But he was a lunatic at the same time.
Oh, at the same time. They shouldn't.
Unstable.
That's right, probably the most unstable person in Newcastle. Shot more people than anyone I know.
Yeah.
You know, like for a gunman.
Yeah.
Glover shot more people than anyone I know. Not serious shootings where he shot them in the head. It's always been leg shootings and, you know what I mean? Superficial type shootings.
Yep. And so anyway, you've gone to the house, seen all the damage and that, and so what transcended from there? Did you get nicked shortly from there? Or you and Glover? What happened? Did you get away from there, leave the scene, and?
Glover, when I get back to the flat, there's only Scott there. So where's Glover? He says he's just left. Collier was sat tied in the corner. He said, Paddy, I'll tell you anything. I thought, I know you will, son. He was already saying this when I fucking left him. This wasn't supposed to have fucking happened. What's went on here? I didn't know what to fucking do, to be honest. I was shocked. And then Scott lay an hour and he went off, pulled two of his teeth out. I thought, what have I just heard there? Do you know what I mean?
That was some Frankie Fraser.
Listen man, well I know I'm fucking, the situation I've got with authorities.
Yeah.
And now I'm prepared to go on this fucking day. When I went out that day, I'm going to batter people. I'm prepared to get nicked. Do you know what I mean? I'm not taking it any further than smashing people's fucking faces in.
Yeah.
Nothing more was happening that day. None of this was planned. And I didn't realise, listen man, Glover wasn't the only one there working for the cops. Do you know how many were there working for the cops that day?
Well, who? Scott as well? How many people then?
And at least another 3 of the 4 there were officially working for the cops.
Crazy, isn't it?
Fucking crazy. Fucking crazy. I'll show you the paperwork. I've got paperwork on some of them. Glover's paperwork.
Yeah.
Saying he set up at the Oz nightclub.
We'll get it all off you. We'll try and get it up on the screen.
So when he's doing all these shootings, creating this fucking incident between me and the fucking Harris, he's working for the intelligence cops.
Fucking outrageous.
Do you know, it is outrageous.
So we'll get a load of the stuff to go up on screen. I'll get a load of the screenshots off.
I'll get copies of it.
That'd be perfect. And so how long was it before you and Glover ended up getting nicked then from that flat? Obviously you knew things had gone seriously wrong at this point. Did you think about getting your head down, or?
No, because what had happened was Collier went up the police station, I got nicked.
So you released Collier and he went up the station?
That's right. No, what had happened was, I got hold of Scott Waters when he leant over and said that, and I looked at Billy Collier and I couldn't see any of his teeth missing, to be honest. And I thought, is he just fucking, what have I just fucking heard? Do you know what I mean? So I says to the kid who was there, go and get my brother-in-law from the next block, somebody I trusted again. You know what I mean? Like, I thought I'd left him with a woman who I trusted, but they weren't there when I went back. Because I knew Glover was a nutter. That's why I needed somebody to trust. So I says, go and get my brother-in-law for my next flat. So the kid goes and gets my brother-in-law. I says, watch him for 2 minutes. Collier hasn't even been untied yet. I'm in shock. I went, come outside you to Scott. So I takes him out, I get him in my motor. I sits there, he gets in. I says, what you just say to me? He says, he knew he was going to get wrong off us. He went, I just put the pliers on his teeth and it crumbled. Fuck. I went, no. Like that, no. Do you know what I mean? Because I couldn't see any broken teeth when he's told us.
Yeah.
So Collier is a smackhead and his teeth were all black, you know what I mean, with heroin.
Yeah,
so it probably has just fucking crumbled, but
still.
So and when I went like that, turns me fucking head. There's a cop pulling up at the end on us, who's looking forward. So I didn't even have a chance to go back in the fucking flat, to be honest.
Yeah.
I just had to take off there and fucking then and take a chase off the cops. So while I was getting chased off the cops, I said to Scott, I'm going to drop you off along here and I'm going to take him for a ride around Newcastle. And I did, that's what I done about 25 minutes. I was in a Range Rover. I said, you better get that back that flat now. And you better tell him to get up that police station and tell him it wasn't fucking me. And you know what I mean? This is before I'm even fucking nicked. So I've dropped Scott off, took the chase off the cops for about 25 minutes. I'm just driving slow.
Yeah. I
had fucking 6 police cars behind us in a helicopter. And I'm just driving slow, run, take my time. I took them over a BMX track.
Yeah.
Now the motorbike, the kids thinking.
I bet that 25 minutes felt like hours though with them not being.
I was just having a bit of fun really.
Yeah.
I could see them in the rear view mirror coming out of the BMX track behind us, over the big lumps of white in the fucking ceiling. I'm in a Range Rover, so I was doing it all right, you know. Yeah. And I just let them arrest us after about 25 minutes.
Straight remanded, obviously.
No, Collier come up to the police station and says, well, I tell him it wasn't me.
Yeah.
So he comes straight to the police station and said it wasn't me.
So then you've ended up, did you even
so
get charged?
So I got out.
Yeah, with no charge or bail?
No charge, just released.
Yeah.
And then Glover, a week later, Glover went and fired a shot on him. Fucking no man, I know man. So that's when he went and made statements and that.
He's obviously scared for his life at that point and he's backed into a corner and he was...
I don't know about scared for his life, but that's the excuse he used.
Yeah, well obviously Glover sounded like he was an irrational lunatic at those times, was he?
He's been an irrational lunatic all his fucking life. Like I say, he's shot more people than anyone I know.
And so then he's gone up to the station obviously after the shots been fired at him and obviously then snitched and told about you and the whole thing and you've ended up then getting arrested, did you then?
Aye, for the torture.
Yeah.
And then...
was it a shock? Obviously you thought it had all gone away. Did you know that Thingy had fired the shot at him or any of this sort of stuff?
I heard he'd fired a shot and I knew it was coming on top. I took off.
Yeah.
This has upset everything, this. And I took off in the quarters, a couple hundred miles away in a hotel.
And so then you've ended up being remanded, this time on serious charges. And so where did you get remanded to?
Home house.
And obviously Glover's been...
He was already there.
Yeah. And did you end up getting padded up with him in that?
No.
On the same wing with him? Were you having contact with him?
Same wing. So
were you furious with him at this point? Or?
Fucking furious. Listen, not really, but I just had to deal with it. I didn't get furious in these situations. You've just got to fucking deal with what you've got, haven't you?
Yeah.
I'm level-headed that way in them situations. So I just had to deal with the situation. I found out then, when I'm on remand with him, Glover had fucking also shot his fucking house up. Like 2 weeks before he's dragged him out the shop. I didn't even know about this. So I fucking didn't even know about it.
He's a good Cody.
Listen man, he's working for the fucking cops. I didn't disclose this at the trial till I'm on trial, so I didn't really get a grasp of what had really went on. And I've gotten some paperwork since the fucking trial on different ones. So we're all working for the cops, man. It wasn't just fucking Glover. It was at least 3 of them signed up officially working for the cops who tortured Billy Collier, and I wasn't even there.
Crazy.
So what they done was they got Glover to make a statement implicating me in the torture, saying I was present, giving orders out, said I was rolling about the floor laughing when he was getting his teeth pulled out. And Glover changed places with me and one of the other informers,
Yeah.
who was just like yourself working for the cops. He's done this a number of times with the same informer in different incidents. Leaves this one out, he does. So Glover swap places were. I didn't realise. I didn't realise.
Did you know he'd made these statements against you at this point? While you were in while you both were in remand, he was making.
No, they'd done most of this after we escaped.
Okay,
and he'd
so
been recaptured.
Let's go back then to the escape. Then obviously, on the way to court one day, was it that you and Glover escaped? How did you manage to do that? Was it a lot of planning that went into it, or was it like you said? Was it all Glover and you just?
Not really.
Right?
He'd already arranged an escape before I even got on the wing, because he had been there before me.
Yeah.
So he knew he was getting took to court in a minibus. He'd already escaped from prison on this way to court before this day. He'd already escaped 4 or 5 times already.
Jesus.
He's the most. It's been just news reports and everything about him escaping on the way to court. Nobody more than him. He slips the cuffs. He's got big, thick wrists, and he can manage to get the cuffs off somehow. He does, but he's done it 5 times. He has.
So anyway, so like you say, it's on the cards, and on this particular day, did you know that this was the day it was going to happen then?
So I'm on remand now with him, and we're going to be took to court together next time we're going to court. So he comes and tells me this. They're taking me to court in a fucking minibus, just fucking 2 screws. He says, my cousin Freddie's got a Range Rover, I'm going to try and escape. Blah blah blah, do you want to come with us? I went, nah. At first I did. I said, nah, I didn't want to escape. He's saying, oh man, fucking how am I going to get out? Well, can I get the cuffs off? Blah blah blah. So I agreed at first. At first I did. Then I changed my fucking mind a week later. So when I've agreed, he says to me, can you get a car? I said, oh, am I going to get a fucking car from him? I've just said I'll escape with you. He's already said he's got the escape arranged, he's got the fucking cars. I said, where am I going to get a car from? So he says, see such and such, he's coming up to see you this afternoon, and he blah blah blah. And I didn't even realise it. I remember thinking at that point, who's he? Nah, he's coming up to see me this afternoon. But it wouldn't be in the family, I thought he must have heard. So anyway, I sees this person who Glover's told us to see about fixing a cutting of a car, and he did do. He sorted it out. But then I changed my fucking mind. A few days later I said, yeah, listen, I'm not going, I've changed my fucking mind. And he's going, nah, and he was on to it all fucking week. I said, listen, I didn't want to go.
So he must have just been
so listen, this is what happened.
He must be completely unstable though, because obviously he was a grass anyway, so he might have got a favourable thing, but he's still planning on escaping.
Let's tell you what happened.
Yeah.
So he's going, oh man, what if I can't get the cuffs off? He says, I'll take some soap out with us. So in the morning of the escape, we are thinking we're going to get cuffed together. No, when I was going to escape with him, we were just going to pop the window and jump with the bus fucking window together, cuffed. It's been done loads of times. We shouldn't really be getting took to court like this anyway, not me and fucking him. But he knew which way they'd already been taking him to court, because he'd been arrested before me. So on the morning that we were going to court, we're expecting to get cuffed together. So he's took a Mars bar bag with him, full of washing up liquid, and he's twisted the top to get the cuffs off, because I'm not going with him now, so he's got to get the cuffs off. So he's took a Mars bar bag with him, cheeked between the cheeks of his arse, with washing up liquid in it. And when we're in reception, he had grey tracksuit pants on. The Mars bar bag had burst off, do you know what I mean?
Oh my God,
he fucking shit himself.
At least it didn't stink, but everyone probably thought it did.
You know what I mean? And this is to get the fucking cuffs off so he can fuck off. So when the screws come out, they've only cuffed with 2 screws separately. Do you know what I mean? We're not even getting cuffed together.
So when you see this, did you think the plan was
I thought
done?
the escape's off.
Yeah.
I thought great. You know what I mean? No happening, but it's already arranged. So what can we do? So we're cuffed to 2 separate screws instead of together. So the plan was, at the time, the A19 doing there was fucking roadworks so terrible. It was doing it 5 mile an hour. It was like that for about a year, just outside the prison. And you drove straight onto the A19 outside the prison. So we thought, when we get into that traffic, it'd been like that all year. When we get stuck in that slow traffic, we'll jump out fucking then, man. We'll just pop the window and get away. That was the original plan. when I was going to go with him. But no, I'm not going. He's got to get the cuff off and the stuff's gone. And then we're cuffed to 2 screws. So we're leaving the prison. So as we drives onto the A19 into that roadblock, we could see the 2 cars. We could see the, you know what I mean, the 2 drivers getting next to her ready just to
try not to look at them.
Aye, but so there was no we could do really. We just had to send it out, and that was the plan, to jump out there at the prison where the road was, roadworks were, and it was only doing 5 mile up. Now we've travelled past that now. We're nearly into fucking Newcastle, fucking 30 mile away, and the 2 cars didn't know what to fucking do, because the plan was we were going to jump out there, but they didn't want to leave one either. Do you know what I mean? They were sort of stuck. So as we're travelling up the motorway, I sees one of them driving up the side and looking to basically see what's fucking going on. And I thought, oh no. Glover sat in front of us with a screw cuffed to him, behind the driver. And as the car drives past him, he notices it as well. And Glover turned around and glances to us with a wink. Listen, I was cuffed in a screw. As the car was driving past, I thought, you lunatic. You fucking lunatic. The next thing I know, Glover just stood up and pulled the handbrake on. We're doing about 60 mile an hour. And he just leant over, because he was sat behind the driver. And he just pulled the handbrake on. He shouted, right, we've got help, they've got guns, and pulled the handbrake on. And we went into a spin on the motorway. We went round a few times, and luckily enough, we ended up off the motorway in a lay-by when it come to a stop, but pointing the wrong fucking way, pointing up, you know what I mean? And the 2 cars pulled up. So the screw took Glover's cuff straight off, and he got off the fucking bus, and he was away. I'm still sat there in the bus with the 3 screws cuffed, not even trying to escape, right? This is what genuinely happened. Yeah. I'm not gunning, remember. I've never planned a gun. So Glover's away and he's in the car. And then all of a sudden, the car stops and he gets out the car and he comes back to the fucking van and he grabs the case, you know, with the screws take the coat with all the cuffs in and the documents and all that. He grabs that fucking case and he looks at me as he was grabbing the case. He went, come on, come on. And I didn't answer him. He's shooting, come on man, fucking come on. And I looks at him, and the screw in front of us went like that with the key. And this one went, and I went, go on then. That was me words. Listen, the screws, if you ever asked them, they would have to tell the truth. That's what fucking happened. I went, go on then. And then I just stepped off the bus. So was it an escape? And then I found out, afterwards, Glover, under the court, Glover had phoned the cops 3 days before we escaped, confirming we were escaping on that day. Part of what was going on with him and working for the cops.
So how did the police not stop it on that day? Did they let
He fucking tell me.
Okay, so they kind of let it happen. And so did you and Glover separate yourself straight away?
So this is what happened. I wasn't even escaping, man. Yeah. So, but I'm in the car now. So we get about a mile down the road onto the key side of Newcastle where the courts are, and the traffic was really busy at that time in the morning. And there was jam sandwiches on response heading towards where we just escaped from. Yeah. And I just thought, fuck this. We were stuck in traffic. I said, there's something at the car door. I says, I'm away, see you later. And I just took off on my feet and left him. No. I didn't know what the plan was for him, where he was going. Apparently he went doing some caravan or something, but I didn't even know anything about any caravan or anything. Yeah. Like I say, I wasn't gone.
Did you not go and hide out with gypsies yourself? After?
That day I did. Yeah. I went later on that day I did. Ended up on Carlisle, the gypsy site up Carlisle.
And so, how long did you manage to keep going down there for then?
A week or 2 on the gypsy site.
So at this point here, you must have been obviously one of the most wanted people in the UK, you and Glover then, at this point?
Yeah.
Was you obviously all over the news report, Crime Watch, all this sort of stuff? Were you?
Britain's #1 wanted criminal, I was.
Jesus.
Officially.
And so you've ended up spending a couple of weeks with gypsies?
The gypsies, and then I moved in with the Jews, Bencham. I moved back to Newcastle. In the Gateshead, Bencham.
Jesus, and how long did you spend there then?
Couple of months.
Jesus, so even after that you spent, I thought you'd gone straight out to Spain, but you spent
no,
months there.
No, I had any plans going to Spain.
And so why did you leave the gypsies? Were they pressurising you? Was it getting too hot?
No, one of the gypsies I was with, she come in with her sister or her cousin one day. They were all right, but I just thought, I
too
didn't
many
want
people.
I thought too many people was getting an arm, yeah. That's why I fucked off.
So you end up going and spending time, would you say, the Jews? And
I rented a flat off them, where the Jews live. They've got their own area, where I all live in one area.
Yeah.
Called Benjamin. I went there and rented a flat off one, and then I had a month there, and then I went and rented a flat off another one.
Yeah.
And then I got approached and asked if I wanted to live out the country.
Okay, and so obviously you took them up
and
on
then,
this.
Aye.
And how did this? What was their plan, and how did you then get out of the country then?
Well, I thought I got told he's taking his boat to the country, Phil Berryman. Phil Berryman signed up to customs at this point.
Yeah, so you know Phil Berryman, did you know him for some time before this?
A couple of years, something like 2-3 years, something like that. I think. A couple of years.
And is it true your relationship started with you sorting out a problem for him with another?
That's what he says, I didn't sort any problems with for him.
Yeah. Okay, so anyway, Phil's then come to you and said that he could get you out of the country then, so you, on the boat, was it?
Well, Phil Berryman first wanted to do things with me in the early days, and then we were going to do things with him, and we were planning doing things with him.
And when you say things, you're talking about
crime.
Yeah, importing cannabis.
I'm not saying what I'm talking about. I'm just saying crime.
Okay.
And then Phil Berryman had moved into my circles, sort of thing. He's even got fucking drinking in my fucking local pub. You know what I mean? On occasions. So I didn't mind that until Brian Cockle and Speedy come to see us and said Phil Berryman's a fucking grass. He's just give evidence against that mate, and this is what's happened. And so I listened to them, and I had a word with Phil Berryman's mate, who introduced him to us.
Yeah.
I said, they're saying he's a fucking wrong and blah blah blah, keep him away from me. And he was saying, no, he's alright. I'm saying, no, I'm listening to fucking them. Keep him away from me, I want no more to do with him. And I got rid of him out of my life.
Yeah.
Because Brian Cockle and Speedy are telling me what he'd been doing.
Yeah.
And I got him out of my life. So when he offered me the lift with the country, this is fucking nearly a year later or something.
At desperate times.
In desperate times, that's right, and what he'd supposed to have done was he's supposed to have went to court and give evidence against somebody. And which I wasn't thinking he was a police informer or working for customs and out there at this point. I'm just thinking he's fucking went and coppered someone in court and got them fucking jailed. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't work with the likes of them. You can't. And that was it. And I cut him off before we done any work with him. Before we got run to doing any work with him, I cut him off. And then I get to I got offered a lift with the country. But before I got offered the lift with the country, Berryman, I was involved with Berryman, you see, he wasn't just Berryman. In fact, I was fucking just shut up about it, but Berryman had signed up to customs 2 months before he took me to the country. From the police to the customs. I've got the paperwork. He went and met them in Hemel Hempstead.
Yeah.
Introduced himself, he said, I'm Phil Berryman. He might know me, I'm a well-known drug smuggler from the North East. This is how he introduced himself to these new handlers. I want to sign up to yours, and I want to give you loads of information on Paddy Conroy and what he's up to, blah blah blah. I've got the paperwork. Got off his coke, who's Jimmy, who he's charged with. And he's given customs information about importation of 50 kilo heroin that I'm behind. And I didn't realise this till I got the paperwork and what he's been saying to the customs about me.
Yeah.
But that 50 kilo heroin, he come and approached me to ask me if I wanted anything to do with importation of 50 kilo heroin. And I says, me, I stopped the fucking heroin, man, you daft cunt. Fucking no chance. And fucked him right off. So, because that's what I did. And no could ever come of it. Do you know what I mean? And he wasn't trying to import the 50k out. But he went and told customs it was fucking me behind it. And when it was fucking him. So I'm just telling you that was part of whatever he's done with customs when he signed up with them. And when I got offered the lift out the country, through a third party. They took us down to Berryman's house that night. And he says, listen, my boat's not even in the water. It's at the harbour. I think they took us to the harbour. He says, going in the morning, and then it's going to take 2-3 days to get down to the bottom of England. Do you know what I mean? We may as well just join the boat. That's when I'm joining the boat. Then come back in a few days' time. So that's what I was told. So anyway, I goes back in 2 or 3 days' time, and I'm kept at Berryman's fucking house that night. We're leaving the next morning for, I don't even know where it was. I've been told it's at the bottom of the country anyway. So the funny cunt Berryman fucking tried to slip his fucking missus into me that night. Fucking telling you, he's come fucking in the sitting with a baby doll and all sorts on. And anyway, he's a funny cunt. I could never wire out why he tried to do that to me. And I thought, you know why? Because he knew what he was going to do to us. Do you know what I mean? He was looking for justification, I think. Anyway, I chased her. The next morning we're going down to wherever it is, fucking down the bottom of the country, the port, where intelligence people are all waiting, taking photos of me, getting on the boat. Proper, I'm Britain's #1 wanted fucking criminal. I'm fucking photographing him, and we're not leaving that place till the next fucking day. And they just let us go. Crazy. What was going on? You tell me.
Nuts.
I can tell you what I think's been going on.
Well, obviously, he probably told them there's bigger, or someone probably told them there's bigger crimes going on, so they were probably waiting.
Berryman approached me when I was on remand for. Was it for this? He approached us. I've told you I chased him a long time earlier. Cockle won't be called. I didn't do nothing with him, or tried to do nothing with him after that. But he approached me when I was on remand for, which fucking charge was it? Must have been this fucking charge. I've been locked up that many times, but I just know he approached us. He did make an approach to us before he took us out of the country, and he asked us if I wanted to be involved with a bit of work with him, 10 ton, getting 10 ton in.
Yeah.
I went, no chance. I don't want to be involved. I'm not working with him. Full fucking stop. And that was it. So
he ended up smuggling you out of the country.
So this is months and months later when I get smuggled out the country off him. So while I was on the boat travelling hour with him.
Did you have people in Spain?
No. I haven't been planning, man. I've just been offered a fucking lift and get me out of here. Do you know what I mean? Thinking once I get there I'll be safe.
Yeah.
They were waiting for us over there, the cops and all. So when I was talking on my way over, I says to Berryman, and he said, this cunt's working with customs now, remember?
Yeah.
I says to Berryman, what happened with 10 ton you done? Did you get it in? He says, nah, they just used it as secondary. The first one got it in. He says, so I asked them for 100 grand expenses. I says, and? He says, give us 50 grand. A lot of money, 50 grand back then.
Yeah.
He said, I've used 25 grand of it to buy a boat. What's following us over? Because that's what he was doing. He was dealing about run.
Yeah.
And this is the cunt who signed up the customs. Do you know what I mean? So if he's done that with the heroin with us, what was he doing with what was going on? Yeah.
Of course.
And then he blames me when he gets back. If I tell you about the tape, when he taped the cops. So this is what happened. He's picked up 3.7 ton and he's been caught with it. Somehow. He's pulled up some canal doing Liverpool way and he's parked up. It was the next day he gets raided. The following fucking day. He's got 3.7 ton on. And this is how they're supposed to have caught him. They're supposed to have been listening to his phone calls and he rung his missus.
Yeah, I've actually read his book as it happens.
I haven't read his book to be honest, but a lot of bollocks, yes. And then the guns and raids a fucking boat. But at the same time they're raiding the boat, customs are raiding the boat at the same time as the crime squad. And this is what I heard happened. When they got on the boat and they said, right, he's all under arrest, customs said to the crime squad, right, he's off the fucking case. Get away off this boat, no. We're taking his off the case. because it's the same cops who had been involved with the Curtis Warren case, and they already had them under suspicion for shit.
Yeah.
And they stopped them from that moment, and they said, we're telling you now, stay away from Phil Berryman. You're not allowed to talk to him. Don't go and see him about anything to do with this. So they took over the case and remanded, charged Phil Berryman. They've charged their grass.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he's on remand, charged with the smuggling, even though he signed up to them. So the cops who have been told to stay away from him have wanted to visit him in Hull. He sneaked a tape recorder into the fucking visit room. I've got the transcript of the tape somewhere. As soon as the cops walk in the room, Berryman says, I thought he's weren't allowed to come and see us. They said, we've told them about it. It's about the flare gun we got from your house when they raided the house. It's a different matter. You know what I mean? Conway in.
Yeah.
Berryman says to the cop, this is his next words, you know I shouldn't have been on that boat, to the cops. And the cops reply to him, it's Conroy's drugs, Phil, and it's Conroy's drugs, isn't it? And you could see the cops are paranoid in case the place is bugged. Well, it did fucking bug. Berryman's got his fucking tape, you know what I mean? But they went on, the cops are saying, listen Phil, we're going to talk to the judge. We're not such and such who plays golf with him. We're going to have a word with him. Do you know what I mean? Trying to reassure him, listen, we'll get you out of this mess. Whatever's fucking went on. But they wouldn't see what was going on other than, it's Conroy's drugs, letting them know, blame fucking Conroy. So the cops were involved, yeah. But they've not, Berryman's taped them as well, he mustn't trust them. And he produced the tape at the trial. And they've given a different version of events. And they're talking about the now someone who plays golf with a judge and all that fucking shit, and collapsed the fucking biggest drug trial in the history of the UK it was at the time. 15 million quid.
Crazy.
And the two busies collapsed it. Two analysts.
Crazy.
For what, tape recording?
Yep. And so
what
year was
the
this?
point I'm pointing out is, you know I shouldn't have been on that boat. Phil's telling the cops. And only I know what he meant by that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I actually stopped the driver that he was using. When I found out who he was using as the driver, when you fucking not, you know, when I was over there, because I tried to stop it.
Yes.
And I chased the fucking driver so it couldn't go ahead.
Yeah.
Right, because I didn't trust this cunt. And after I've chased the driver, that's when Phil Berryman had to drive the drugs himself. And that's what he meant when he says to the cops, you know I shouldn't have been on that boat.
Jesus.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And so when you were in Spain, whereabouts in Spain were you?
When I first arrived,
Yeah.
Costa del Sol, where Ronnie Knight's bar is, what do you call it? Fingarola, where Ronnie Knight had his pub.
Yeah, and so was this in the heyday of the Costa del
Oh,
Sol?
yeah, more or less.
And so did you meet a load of the Cockney
No,
faces? or
I just
keep your head down.
I just kept me doing.
And so you were out there, but obviously, like you said, you were photographed going out there. So you weren't out there for that long, and you ended up getting arrested by Interpol in a big arrest. You talk about that day and like how that happened. When was it? You at the airport?
I was picking Berryman's partner up at the airport, and only he knew I was going to be there. But I wasn't at the airport. I was outside in the car box. He's in a big car box over there, so I told him where I'd be. And Interpol just sneakily parked the car in front of us. Next thing I know, there was one fucking behind us, and there were fucking guns through the fucking window. Within seconds, it had us. Even not suspected something was going on with the cars. They were fucking on us like a ton of pricks.